Hey everybody, welcome to another video here on the 67 Stang channel. So I mentioned in the last video when I kind of showed you the install, did the crank of the car with the new FI, then I'd go over, the price, the cost, the total cost of that. So let's get into that and maybe also give you some other ideas, tips and tricks and things I picked up and those kind of things. So let's get in on it, shall we? Okay, so let's start talking about all the prices, the total cost and whatnot of this entire system. So in an earlier video, when I first started getting everything together, I did go over a basic price, or not price, component list, parts list, that's what I'm looking for, parts list for this. And throughout the whole project, I have found that I didn't quite get everything in there. So what I want to do is really go over part by part all the different things I used as part of this conversion over to the Holley Sniper Autolite 1100 EFI as well as the Hyperspark electronic ignition. So all of those were done together. So let's go in and look at the price and or the parts list and the cost. And I've got my little cheat sheet here, and I'll put this up or I'll put it down in the description of the video as well, so you've got this here. So obviously the first component of the system was the Sniper Autolite 1100. So that's what came in this big box back here. Now when I bought it back in March of 2020, I paid just under $750. It was $749.95. Now, what I also want to do is tell you the cost of what it lists now, because the prices have gone up since I originally purchased the kit, or the components, I guess is a better way to say it. So currently, as of December 28th of 2021, that particular unit, the Sniper Autolite 1100, is now listed for $844.95 on Holley's website, as well as a few others out there. So the price has gone up almost $100 from when I purchased it back in March of this year. So not surprising, given all the issues we're currently having with supply chain, delivery, and so on. So not very surprised about that. Now, the fuel pump that was part of the system, because you've got to have a electric fuel pump that can deliver at least 60 psi, pounds per square inch pressure, right in there. So the one I went with, which is the one that works in the original tank of the car, doesn't need a return line, was the Holley Holley 255 OE style EFI fuel pump and sending unit. So that works in there. It was $350.95 when I purchased it. Again, I purchased it right around the same time I purchased the Sniper. So it is currently listed on Holley's website as $394.95. Okay, so again, it went up about $44 from when I ordered it. So the price was going up. The Hyperspark distributor that I've got in there. So the distributor that gives me full control over timing electronically and all of that. It plugs right into the EFI unit. Now you don't have to get this distributor. You can run the EFI without it. You can use a stock mechanical distributor. There is on older Mustang 65, 66s, there was a type of distributor that I can't think of the name of, Tunomatic or something like that, that the EFI won't work with, but I wanted the whole package. So I got the Hyperspark distributor for the 6-cylinder engine. and it was $255, well, $254.95 when I purchased it. Again, Holley has gone up on that cost, not by a huge amount. They're currently listed as $281.95. Again, was it about a little under a $30 increase, but again, still an increase. Now, to go with that distributor, I got a new coil. So instead of my stock coil, I went with an EFI coil from Holley. It's their canister coil. And that new Sniper canister coil was $35.65. Currently lists for $39.30, so a $4 increase on that one. Now, there are some other options with that. You don't necessarily have to go with the Sniper. You want a hotter than normal coil to work with this system, from what I've been told. So that's why I got this one. But I think that one of the Pertronics coils that also work with EFI or electronic ignition would be fine, I would guess. Holley has another coil that actually mounts inside the engine bay somewhere. It doesn't mount in the stock unit on the engine that you could use. I went with the canister coil for a couple of reasons. One, I think it was cheaper. Two, it mounts in the original spot that the original coil did. It looks like an original coil. So those are the reasons I went with that one. Obviously, you've heard it fire off. She works fine. It works great. To go with the coil, though, you need a coil driver module. So I went with the coil driver module. You've seen it before. It's that little one, and I'll try to stick pictures in here of these things as I'm talking about them. But it was, that little module was $114.95 when I bought it. Again, this was back in the summer. So it now lists for $126.95. So again, the price has gone up on that one, $12 since I bought it. Okay, now to power, or to get the power from the distributor, well, from the coil to the distributor, and from the distributor out to the plugs, you need new spark plug wires. And this was something I didn't include in the original parts list because I didn't think about it. I was going to use my original wires. So you have to buy some like these. I've showed these before. So MSD style wires. I got the Super Conductor MSD, so an 8.5 millimeter spark plug wire. So it comes in red and black. I have red on the car now. I actually do have a black kit that I think I've showed y'all before. I may put back up or replace those. So I had to get some of these, and you can't use the standard plug wires on here, at least not with the connectors that are there. So again, went with those. It's what was recommended to me. Seemed to be a very good wire. They're not cheap though. So those wires were, or are, because I purchased these recently, $119.73. Okay, through Holley. They have them available through Amazon for the same basic price. I saw some prices on these up to $127 online. You can get cheaper MSD style wires. I saw some down as low as $60, I think. But I was told, get good wires. They last for a while. You're going to get better spark. It's going to run better. So I was just recommended by folks I trust to get good ones to start with, and that's what they recommended. So that's what I got. Okay. Now let's see. Any other? Okay. So those are the big ticket items. Now we're going to get into some of the little things, and they're not really little because you got to have them. So first, let's talk about fuel line. Now, I had, when I first got the car running, about 2 going on almost 3 years ago, I replaced the fuel tank. So it's relatively new fuel tank, and I replaced all of the metal fuel line. So from the tank all the way up to the engine compartment, all the fuel system was brand new. I also had put in a new mechanical fuel pump, but that's gone. So I kept that. So I didn't have to replace my fuel system. The 5/16 original fuel system will work with this Sniper Autolite 1100 unit. Now, if you go up and do something different, you upgrade your engine, and you want to put a 2300 Sniper on there, I think that's right, then you're going to have to increase the fuel line. You're going to have to go to 3/8. But for this Sniper 1100, the 5/16 fuel line works perfectly fine, or at least it has for me. So all of the fuel system components I'm about to talk about are 5/16 in size, not 3/8. And like I said, because mine was all new, I didn't have to replace that. If your fuel system is old, then you might want to consider replacing the tank and the fuel lines just so you don't have a bunch of crud. And if you do that, then you might want to go ahead and get one that's set up for a return line so you can run that, which changes things. But know that I didn't have to replace all that, so none of that's included in my cost. I already had it. So things I needed. So a 90-degree end. So that's the one that comes out of the Sniper unit down and where the fuel line connects into there. So it's a 5/16 90, and Earl's that I got there was $11.48. I checked it on Amazon, and most of these small things I got off Amazon. So it was still $10.48. The seller was Super Shops there. I got a AN6 because that's the fitting size on this unit. Cap, because I'm not running a return line, I had to have a cap for the return port on the Sniper unit. So that cost me $10, again through Amazon. Then the fuel filter, so I got a 10 micron fuel filter, again for this. It's an Earl's Vapor Guard and 5/16, and that cost me $22.46. Listed, it's still the same price on Amazon through Super Shops. Then I got a barbed tee for the 5/16 to a 1/8 or 1/8 connection. So that tee allowed me to put the pressure gauge in there so I could monitor my fuel pressure. So that was $9.92, and then the gauge itself for the fuel pressure was a Marshall's instrument unit, and it was $26.99. Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, hose clamps. So you're going to need hose clamps, EFI style hose clamps. So I originally got a set of Earl's which had 6 clamps in it, but proved not to be quite enough. I needed a couple more. I paid $8.15 for the 6. Then I went ahead and bought some additional clamps that came as a kit that had different sizes, because I figured I might need some for my truck, my wife's Mustang, whatever. And that kit was another $16.47. I could have just gotten another set of 6 and at $8.15, and it would have been fine there. Okay. You know, he had a fire truck gear in that. I did need some fuel hose, so you're going to need for your soft lines some. Let the fire truck go. Okay, the fire truck's gone. Fire station is right behind my house, so that's it. Anyway, talking about fuel hose. So you will need to get EFI graded fuel hose for the system because of the increased pressures. The old mechanical pump and the old carbureted fuel system ran at about 6 to 8 psi. This is going to be running at 60. So you need a hose designed for that increased level of pressure. So I got some Earl's Vapor Guard hose that's rated for EFI. I also got the kind that was rated for use with ethanol fuels. So it can handle that if that's all that you have. I'm lucky in my area I have access to non-ethanol fuel. But if I ever take the car on a road trip, who knows, right? So I went ahead and got that. I got 10 feet of it, because that's all you really need. I still have some left over. So I got 10 feet of it, and that was 47 bucks when I paid for it. Looks like the current list price, again, on Amazon was $46.37 was the cheapest I found it. Again, from Super Shops on Amazon, which they did a great job as far as getting me stuff. I was very happy with that there. So that covers all of the fuel system. Now there's a lot of other little incidentals here that I want to mention. So zip ties, right, for cleaning up your wiring and all that. So I got a bag of zip ties. That was $5.30 in there. I had to buy some additional wire to run power and grounds. So I got this spool here of 12 gauge wire that came with both a black and a red connected together. That was, where did I see that on here? $17.99, call it 18 bucks. Okay, I also got some additional wire loom here, braided wire loom. This was for I think 50 feet of this stuff was 20, well, it was this, and I got some other split braid on there. So that total of all of that stuff, it was $24.95 is the total for all of the braid I got. Oh, then I got the bung, right, for the O2 sensor that I had to weld in. So that was $11.65 in there. Now the other things I did include, I used some connectors that I already had, electrical connectors, wire connectors for butt splicing wires together. So I didn't include that in here because I already had them. But if I had to go buy them, you're probably looking at $5 to $8 for those. Solder, I soldered some of the wires for connection. So I didn't include that. So I had a little solder in there. So I didn't include. Some electrical tape I also used. Some heat shrink tubing that I already had, I didn't include, so you know, probably another 10 bucks or so for all that. So what I was looking at, or what I my total into this project, pretty much accounting for everything except those incidentals I was just telling you about, came to a grand total of $1,782.94. If I were to do it right now, if I were to begin from scratch, reordering everything, it looks like I'd be into it for $2,019.09. So basically an increase of $236.15 from what I originally paid for. Okay, hold on, I forgot one other part, and I didn't want to leave it out, but the fuel pump block-off plate, I forgot to include it, and I got it from CJ Pony Parts for $11.49. It currently listed $12.99. So that was the last part I forgot to include in the total, so it's still there. But anyway, now back to the rest of the video. Okay, so there you go. That's the price breakdown, all this. As I said, I'll put the parts list with part numbers and cost, what I paid and what the current cost is down in the description below, so you have that as a reference. I will say, you know, that's a lot of money. I put a lot of money into the system. Is it worth it? Well, I think so. My driver's light went off. Driver's light back on. It's a lot of money, but you know, this car starts and runs so much better than I ever could get it under the old carbureted system. Even though I rebuilt the carb, it had a leak. Could I have gotten it to run as smooth with, say, a new carburetor and, you know, really working to tune the distributor, you know, get the timing set right? Maybe. But even back in the 80s, when I was driving this car as a teenager and I did all that, it still doesn't run as smooth as it does now, especially once it gets up to temperature. The movement of the vehicle, you know, the pickup, the get up and go when I hit the gas pedal seems to be a lot better than it was with the carburetor. It seems to be more responsive to me. I'm still getting kind of used to that. I can't tell you what kind of gas mileage I'm getting. I've gotten that question. Is it better? I haven't driven it enough. Until I get the steering fixed and the alignment done, I'm not comfortable taking it out on the road for any long trips. I've driven all around the neighborhood, but that's about it. But overall, right now, based on my current experiences, yes, it was worth the money. My wife has even commented on how nice it sounds compared to what it was before. And if she can notice it, that tells me something. So, would I do it again? Yes. How hard was it to install? Well, you've seen the videos. I don't think it was that hard. I think it went pretty darn well and was pretty easy, all things considered, once you start kind of figuring things out. That's really just taking your time, making sure you know what you need to install, where you need to install it, making sure you have your ducks in a row, as it were, and, you know, like I said, just being a little patient with it. It's not that hard. I mean, and I don't mean to be condescending or anything, but heck, when I watched Ellie's garage, where Ellie installed it on her Falcon, Carl, and yes, she had the help of her dad, but she was able to jump in and do it. She is even more of a novice mechanic than I am. But she did it, did a wonderful job. She gave me the courage to try this myself. So, yeah, would I do it? Absolutely. Do I encourage you to do it? If you want to, you're not trying to go stock. So I'm just trying to turn this into a nice, reliable weekend driver. I can go cruising in with my wife. So I'm very happy with it. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and give her a crank, and then we'll sign out. So let's crank her up, shall we? So there you go. You saw her crank up. You heard her. So how easy that was. So much easier than I had the carb on here. I had to pour gas in it all the time, or turn juice, and you just turn the key, let it pump up, turn her a little bit, she fires right off. Like I said, she's running so much smoother than she ever did before. I always felt like she was missing cylinder on occasion, and she just seemed to run her like a kid. So, very happy. Well, I know that wasn't probably the most exciting video in the world, but I did want to go through all the costs, because there are a lot of little things like the spark plugs and zip ties and whatnot that I really hadn't anticipated as part of the project. So a lot of little costs that can nickel and dime you to death on some of these things. So I wanted to try to give you the full, meal deal, as it were, as to what does it cost to do one of these Sniper Autolite conversions. As I said, been very happy with it. I hope you found this series to be helpful, educational, and whatnot. This will probably be the last video for a little while, because I'm really kind of out of things to do right now. I'm hoping to get a rebuild kit for the steering gearbox. If that is something you're interested in seeing a video on, how I rebuild it, please let me know. I'll try to make sure I do one when I get the rebuild kit in. I don't know exactly when that's going to be. It's about $105 for that kit, from what I can tell. So hopefully it won't be too long. But once I get it done, I get the steering box rebuilt and that done, then I've got to get it over to an alignment shop and get the alignment done. And then, guys, she should be pretty much ready to go as far as you know, mechanical stuff for being a safe, regular weekend driver. There's still other things I want to do with her. Obviously, I want to get new wheels and tires. I've talked about those in the past. I really got to do something about the seats. The upholstery on the front seats is splitting at all the seams and the stitching. But what does one expect for upholstery as old as that? I think the front driver's seat I had redone in the 80s, which is why it's in better shape than the passenger seat. But anyway, so I still have things I want to do on the car. But we've got the major issues addressed. We still have body work we want to do. I'd like to get it repainted at some point. But all of these things are down the line. So with that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I really appreciate all the support y'all have shown me with watching the videos, leaving comments and all that. So, you know, do give it a thumbs up if you like the video. If not, give it a thumbs down or dislike and tell me why. If you have questions, comments, or whatever, please leave those down below. Those really help drive traffic to the channel. And I do appreciate all that. And of course, please don't forget the merch store that I have. I've got some great t-shirts on there, hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, all of those kind of things that are there. And every dollar that y'all spent there, I put back into the car to do that. So, you know, there's other things I'd like. I mean, I'd love to get power steering in here. I still want to put air conditioning in here at some point. So a lot of things I still want to do with that. But anyway, guys, I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching. I hope your next, the 2022, which is coming up in a few days. By the time I post this video, it may be 2022. But regardless, I hope 2022 brings you great happiness and prosperity, and wish you the best into the new year. So with that, folks, thank y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video.